had to like critique the venture world, which I'm a part of now, I can imagine like this pressure on founders. For example, you have this, you raise a big round, you understand, okay, you need to reach this extremely ambitious growth goal by whatever date to raise the next round. So you just work yourself from the external expectations because, okay, you kind of have to please the investors in a sense, right? Because if you don't have a profitable business, if you cannot please your investors, you kind of go out of business because you need new investors to sustain the company. And I think that puts a lot of pressure on people. Maybe the thing is that people just go like, okay, all crazy, like we need to reach this. And I think that's also one of the problems is in venture, because if you look at the stats, if you look at how many companies that raise a pre-seed, that goes to seed, that goes to Series A within a given time frame, there's of course the Lovables of the world that go, and 11 Labs that goes super quickly and grows like crazy, but for majority of companies, it doesn't go so quickly.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of, like with all that pressure imagine how many people that is, all the founders, the employees, that pressure that goes down the system. I think it's, I don't know how to solve it, but I think it could be something that we could do better as an industry to like really voice that pressure that is building and that unhealthiness with having too high growth expectations and how it trickles down into the ecosystems.
Yeah. I mean, that is one of the tough ones when you do that venture capital journey, that you have those relentless targets that you have to hit, which of course also pushes you to do more, but you have a runway. And if you don't hit those magic numbers, you won't get your next series of financing. And there's the whole liquidity preferences that might mean that you walk away with nothing as a founder. So whereas, as you mentioned, businesses where they don't take that journey and they run with profits, they don't have that pressure if they miss a quarter here and there. So I can totally see why that can be an unhealthy pressure if you take that journey. We have a couple of minutes left, so I just want to segue fast into the last part, which is about building in Europe. So very briefly, what do you say that Europe does better than the US when it comes to building startups?
It's a very good question. I mean, we have I think like work-life balance is better in Europe, but I think we have a lot of stuff. Like, for example, I started off in Denmark. Now I live in Lisbon, and we have an entity here. We have an entity in Denmark, and we have remote employees all around Europe. And every employee is under different labor regulations. And for example, we were making a warrant program for the employees.
Yeah.
And it was a bureaucratic nightmare because each time you have you just have one remote employee in Belgium, and then you have to like try to port it to Belgium law, and there's so many things. Let me start by answering what Europe can do better. I think like the EU Inc. I think is a